What barriers or challenges do brands face in knowing when a price change is necessary?
Yeah, I'll probably call it 3 points here. The very first one is understanding cost structure. So, is there inherent changes in your inputs that is prompting you to consider making these price changes? Right now, obviously, with a lot of the conversation around tariffs, this becomes a really important point to identify when tariffs are starting to creep into the cost of your goods. I know here at Spreetail, we spent a lot of time trying to identify that and making sure that we kind of monitor the changes in our cost of goods to be able to make the determination on price adjustments. The second point is really around market awareness. And so understanding your competitive SKUs and the changes that they are undergoing in the environment on the different marketplaces. So for example, here we have Sunjo, which is one of our marquee brands that we have the pleasure of working with here at Spreetail. We have this pressure washer that they're selling, and you can see on the actual PDP, there's a whole carousel full of competitors ranging anywhere from, the $88, $89 price point all the way up to close to $200. Identifying which one of these SKUs are actually true competition and monitoring what they're doing from a price change perspective is a really important element to consider when you're actually making a price change. And for us, we have a certain algorithm that will pull out certain details and identify which particular SKUs we want to measure against and understand their price changes in the marketplace so that we can make the according changes on our actual product. Similar to that note, we also want to understand what the category is doing. And so we have devised something called Digital Shelf, which is about $3 billion worth of GMV that we're tracking against competitive SKUs to our assortment. And we're trying to monitor what changes in prices that the category is undergoing. And so here you're looking at an average sale price year over year of our Digital Shelf. And you can see that while there's a lot of conversation around tariffs, over the last few months, you can still see that year over year, we still see our digital shelf compatriots being below the average sale price that they were selling at last year. Certainly, it is trending upwards, and we're seeing, prices increase. We know that a lot of news in the marketplace has said a lot of brands and a lot of retailers have bought heavy into inventory in preparation for tariffs. So we're seeing that in our data as well. So, we believe that this will start to really price in as we get later into the season as well. So understanding what category is doing, understanding what your competitive SKUs are doing is an important element on the changes that you may want to make from pricing. The third point that I'll make is just around elasticity. Do you have a strong understanding of what 3, 5, 10% change in price is going to do to your demand is really important. Here at Spreetail, we've been in business close to 20 years. We've got a lot of data that goes back historically, but also from the different marketplaces, we get lots of different data points that we're able to pull in to understand, hey, what is the elasticity of a category? And so we're able to work that data in, be able to craft a bit of an elasticity view such that we can actually make plans on what price changes will do and work with our brands to make actual changes that best adhere to their goals of whether it's chasing market share or increasing profitability.
How can a slow pricing reaction time impact overall performance?
Yeah, definitely in a number of ways, especially in today's really dynamic environment on marketplaces. The very first one is, are you taking advantage of demand surges or reacting to demand slowdowns? So this is an important element because are you reacting to the customer behavior in terms of the buying patterns and balancing out what that means to your inventory levels? So that's one of the great things from a pricing system perspective that we have at Spreetail is that it does monitor and connects into our pricing system so that into our inventory system so it is not siloed in terms of its decision making. That's really important to be able to balance out cash flow and be able to balance out what the best go-to-market strategy would be from a pricing perspective. The second point I would make is really around bestseller rank. My belief is that in today's environment, all of the sellers are either using Amazon's repricer tool or a third-party pricing tool. And so what that means is that they're able to make really quick reactionary changes to prices and changes in demand. And I think it's really important for our brands to be able to do so as well to be successful. Because many of these repricers, they can target a particular ASIN and monitor what they're doing from a price perspective. And they may decide to undercut you to continue to earn a greater bestseller rank, which we know really pipes and feeds into the Amazon algorithm to be able to continue to sell and improve their performance. And so to some degree, you want to make sure that you're bringing the right things to the table to be able to compete. And over time, if you're slow on reacting to price, you may just be giving away bestseller rank to a competitor. And the final point I'll make is just around maintaining buy box. So we know that Amazon specifically has the Amazon pricing policy that enforces lowest of web pricing. And so as a result of that, if you decide to price above a certain threshold, they may suppress your listing. And here's a great example of what that looks like. In this instance here, you'll notice that the buy box is gone from this particular Sterilite item. And that means is that, your consumers that land on this page may not convert. We see our sales dwindle as much as 80% when this happens. And they may not convert because they're not going to explore that see all buying options button to be able to see, who is actually listing this item. And so this happens whenever your prices exceed that particular Amazon pricing policy. So having a pricing system that reacts really quickly to that will be super important because then our system will detect that and then go and revert the price to come back down so that you can continue momentum on selling. The other thing I will call out is that many of our brands also face a lot of unauthorized sellers on a listing. So being able to combat that with a pricing system that continually monitors the prices that are set on that listing and to be able to target and beat it is going to be an important element on continuing momentum of sales on a particular listing.
How does pricing impact things specifically like organic listing performance and perceived brand value?
Yeah, I don't think you need to look too far than beyond Amazon's flywheel, right? So you can see here on the graph, one of the key components to Amazon flywheel effect is really around lower prices or competitive prices. Obviously, things like ship speed, content, seller rating, all are very important on Amazon's algorithm to placing you higher in the search results. But price is a key component of that. And we know in our research, when we're looking at the customer journey, price is weaved throughout. So you can see here, all the way from search down to buy box, there is an increasing impact of how important price is at each stage of the customer journey. So I think, the more that you can improve your prices and maintain competitiveness, you're going to have a much better chance of having a higher organic rating on Amazon. Now, when it comes to brand proposition and the value proposition behind a brand, price is a key signal of that. It's a signal of quality, it's a signal of brand positioning. And so we work really closely with our brands to ensure that whatever we decide to do from a price perspective adheres to their goal, whether it's minimum advertised price, which we have a way of managing. Also, we have a way of managing, a threshold that prices don't go below, because we want to ensure that the goals of our brands to be able to achieve their performance is not, being jeopardized by having our prices go too far down, or in other cases, too far up as well.